so I watch audiences as they kind of move to high life music, and you realize that it's infectious, like it really does create.
You can anticipate the movement.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Afro Soul Stories. This week, we have a very special guest, Kweku Aacht. He's joining me in order to give us some information about Ebofest and the consequent gigs that are happening both in London and also in Ghana, celebrating the life and career of Ebo Taylor, one of Ghana's most celebrated composers and guitarists, a globally known name and someone who has inspired so many people around the world to enjoy high life, listen to high life, and also to play high life. So yeah, Kweku, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Sewa. I'm doing well, thank you.
Lovely. Thank you for coming.
It's good to be back in London for a short while.
Yeah. Now, I know that you grew up in London, but obviously have Ghanaian heritage, and you're back and forth. And you are now involved in helping with Ebofest coming to life, yeah?
Yes.
How did that come about?
It's probably part of my legacy of partying.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I actually mentor young people, and we have apprentices that live with us. And we had an apprentice, Derek, who was turning 21. So I was like, what do you want to do? I called a friend, and he said, we're all going down to Osu because there's a festival. And Ebo Taylor's playing. And I was like, okay, Derek, just like to go. And he's like, yes, let's go. So we went to this festival. It's called Appia Kwa Bridge.
Of course, yeah.
And had a great time, saw Uncle Ebo and the guys just played an amazing gig. Got to have a quick chat with him and Henry, and then I was introduced to the people who run the festival, Mark and Billy. We got to talking, and they started talking about visual arts, which is one of my passions. And I have Awo, which is a collective of creatives and change makers.
Very cool.
And they're like, could you help us to curate some art for next year? And I said, that would be a pleasure. And Jojo, who had done a lot of the kind of artistic direction that year, is also part of our community. We talked and we were like, yeah, let's help. And then they said, we have something else in the pipeline. And then we want to invite you to a meeting about a festival that we want to do. And I go, what's the festival? And then Mark's like, let me show you. And Mark, he's great with AI. He creates these visual things, so you can visualize what this thing is going to be. And he showed me this mock-up of this festival called Ebofest. And I was like, oh my goodness. Because about 8 years ago, or no, it's even more than that, 8 years ago when I was turning 40, I really wanted to do a fundraiser celebrating Uncle Ebo, bringing together some of the artists in Ghana to perform, young artists like Aduma and When I Was a Gentleman, Fra, to perform Ebo Taylor songs while he was there in his presence to honor him. And he went on tour, so it didn't work out. They still did the show, and it was an amazing event. And unfortunately, we had to, hold the Ebo Taylor part. So when they said they were doing this, I was like, goodness, let me put my weight behind this. They're already doing it. So we agreed, and a year on, we were like, we're not moving fast enough to pull off the original date, which was meant to be January of this year. But let's do a soft launch so that we can really get people a real taste of what this festival is going to be like. And so the idea was to do this event at Alliance Francaise in Accra. That would include some of the artists and just give a little bit of a taster. And so we organised this event. We got Ambole, we got Pat Thomas to come, and Auntie Dinah Hopson, and had this great event on the 6th of February. And then a couple of hours later, we had the news that Uncle Ebo had passed away. And so it was a huge motivator, because we had always said the campaign was, we want him to have his flowers before he leaves. And in a small way he did. And we realized that he's still with us. He's up there with the ancestors. We must still continue the legacy.
It's now more than ever.
It's more than ever. Along with the family, let's continue.
Legacy of Ebo Taylor and the Super City Band. Man, I know. We will walk a shit.
So when talking about Ebofest and the festival in general, we have opportunities obviously to share legacy, and we have opportunities for education in that space. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
It's something, coming from an education background, it's something so precious to me that, when those who invest so much into our history pass on, how do we also do the justice of keeping that? And as a background of people who are usually an oral tradition, usually we just talk and tell. We haven't always written things down. A lot of our history has been lost. But I think in contemporary times, film has been a really powerful way for us to capture stories and tell stories beyond the times of the things happening. And so with the festival, we thought about being able to capture things as we go, like literally simply like keep capturing reels and having people with their phone and keeping things, diaried and sharing. But also on a deeper level, being able to make something of an artistic archive. And capturing film and actually making a documentary. And it's in our vision. We haven't fully figured everything out yet, but we're in conversation with filmmakers like Anita Afonu, who was a producer on the recent The Eyes of Ghana. Incredible movie. You have to see it if you haven't already.
About the photographer.
About Chris Hesse, who's 93. Wow. So the same era as Ebo Taylor.
I saw a photo of him recently, yes. Yeah, he's still going.
He's a dude.
Who may not know who Ebo Taylor is, he is one of Ghana's greatest composers. He was a contemporary of Fela Kuti in the 60s in London. It was the 60s, wasn't it? And I think a little bit into the 70s. But and he's a guitarist and has been celebrated globally as one of the pioneers of high life music. A real legend. A real legend. So going back to the creation of Ebofest and the things that are happening in London, because we are in London right now. And I know that on the 22nd of May at the Jazz Cafe, tell me about it.
Sure, yeah. So it was interesting. Before coming, I had a conversation with Lamisi, who is one of the artists performing on the 22nd at the Jazz Cafe. And she had made it to the soft launch. So it was a great kind of squaring of the circle. But the Jazz Cafe have really responded to the timing of Uncle Ebo's passing by really recreating what was before a Lamisi gig. And inviting other excellent Ghanaian artists. I mean, Lamisi's touring with One Love. And so then Mensa joins, and you've got this kind of collection of extraordinary artists that collaborate and that work together, showing up on the same day and celebrating our uncle, as we all call him. Everyone's owned, everyone's their uncle, whether family or not. And so that evening, we're going to have amazing live music. Roberta Cotolo, the DJ, who has really been a complete angel for us, helping us set things up here in London, will be DJing, and she's going to bring some merchandise along. And so I don't forget, we did bring you one of our shirts along. So when you come to the gig, if you're in London on the 22nd, you can get yourself one of these.
Oh, I'll absolutely be there. Yeah, put me on the door. I'm there.
There you go. So this is for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, these are great. I will be proudly representing. Yes, absolutely. Now, I'm really looking forward to this. And I know that there's another gig in, is it Jago?
Yes, Jago is going to be July the 10th, which is my mum's birthday.
There you go. Happy birthday, Mum.
Happy birthday, Mum. And that's going to be even more diverse. There's going to be screenings there.
Yes.
There will be more DJs, more live performance,
Fantastic.
and more merchandise. Mr. Bongo have given us some of their titles that they re-released of Uncle Ebo's work. So Life and Music and Conflict. We have those, and I think we have Yanara CDs as well for you that you can buy both on the 22nd and on the 10th of July. So it's going to be amazing. Over in Dalston, which again is my old stomping ground.
What I'm going to do in the edit, I'm going to make sure that we can have the artwork of some of Uncle Ebo's music coming through, because I think that if people haven't seen or heard their albums, his albums, they can find them on Spotify and actually really immerse themselves in his music.
Powerful. One of the things I think that a lot of us in Ghana think is, or we realize, is that Ghana hasn't really embraced this legend. The world has embraced him. So he has followings across Europe, South America, the US, and of course, definitely in the UK, thanks to Strut Records and the re-releases and everything. And so we want to do these activations all over the world.
Of course,
So we have a partner in Oslo that we're having a conversation with, also in Berlin.
Fantastic.
And at the moment, Roberta's seeing how we can get a launch over in Italy as well. So if there are anybody watching who are out there who love Ebo Taylor and have a venue, then we're actually very interested in having the opportunity to perform or create an event in his honor there.
It's interesting as you say, because you're right. Ebo Taylor is a global icon. And he has been someone who has really taken high life music to the world. And sometimes, people are appreciated outside of the borders, maybe a little bit more than within. No, I had the great privilege of meeting Uncle Ebo only once. I was performing with Lady J, a wonderful Ghanaian artist, and Uncle Ebo was doing a gig at Republic Bar in Osu. And we did a small acoustic set before him, and it was lovely to meet him. And just for our audience, Republic Bar it's the coolest bar in Accra, but it's a street bar. It's not a stadium, it's not an arena, it's a street bar with outside seating, and it's the coolest bar in Accra. But it's a very, very small venue. And Uncle Ebo, the legend, decided to do a small show for the people. And it's the kind of person that he was.
Did you get to chat to him?
I did. He gave me a very, very kind compliment. I was playing acoustic guitar, and afterwards he said, "Oh, you play with real joy," and that was my quote I can take with me for life.
Beautiful. Well, there's an overlap there because that's actually where I met Uncle Ebo.
Fantastic.
So I had gone along. I had done a collaboration. Well, actually through the concert a few years before, I'd gotten to know the band Fra, and there's a wonderful MC called Young Pabi.
Okay.
And he had done a collaboration with Reynolds the Gentleman, who is another great soul artist, Afro soul artist. And they had an event on that night, and Uncle Ebo came along to check them out. And so he came and sat down next to me, and I was like, and so gracious, and was making commentary on the performance and commenting on how as a young group they cared about their music, and it's a real honor. And I had been in contact with PK, who had been his manager at the time, or road manager at the time. And so we all sat together and had that evening of music. So Mr. Holbrook Smith, I realised, has been having a few podcasts recently talking about his experience of Uncle Ebo as well. And, I know that he was a bit pivotal in some of the more recent shows that that Uncle Ebo did. So.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Strut Records is interesting as well, because I know that in his later years, he was in a certain way rediscovered.
So do you have a favorite album?
Yes, it's probably Love and Death. Yeah.
I love that opening Ganga. It's just such a dope record. And I know that a lot of people have been doing remixes.
I think it's probably going to be one of the more sampled, in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, the music is so varied, and there's been such a wide variety of it over so many decades that there's something there for everybody. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So now, the big Ebofest that's happening in Saltpond, I believe. Talk to me about this.
Oh, good. I don't know why. I just had this kind of little bit of butterflies, because it does. You said big, and actually the vision is so big. And, you know, again, doing the soft launch and having the chance to kind of work with Henry, who's band leader now. And, you know, it's like I'm looking forward to getting to know the family more. Watching them and in shows over the years, it's just always for me was like, wow, imagine kind of having that journey with your father. And I think my dad is 80 and he kind of was on the Black Star line. He remembers Uncle Ebo very well, and they apparently spent time together in New York and all these things. Wow. But there's a particular generation of these kind of older statesmen who have this kind of, you know, like sort of regal air, the next generation, I think, have picked up some of it, but of course there's a little swag. So I think that being around the guys and seeing that they've carried a little bit that forward, there's a desire to use the music to kind of make a difference. And so I come from a very collective background. So the idea of bringing as many people who love Uncle Ebo together to make a difference, particularly in his hometown, Saltpond, is for me a really exciting. And me and Mark and Vili, we were just thinking about how the festival will probably impact on the town itself.
Yes, of course.
You know, it's a coastal town, it's a fishing town. And a lot of our coastal towns, and, you know, again, being a Fanti, sometimes I'm like, oh, we could do better. And I think our other festivals like Asabako, you were talking earlier about Kofi Deborah.
Yeah, of course, Busua Beach.
Busua Beach, you know, that transformation and working with the local community through music and culture and art to improve or to collaborate, to add value to, you know, such an amazing place, I think will be an amazing opportunity.
And that part of the world, you know, in Ghana is beautiful.
It
really, really is.
It is stunning. And then Saltpond has so much history because, of course, you know, Kwame Nkrumah was based there for a while. So a lot of his political, foundational political activities took place in Saltpond, and I feel like there's a chance to really kind of bring people into that history. We'll probably do some more restoration around those old homes and the different places and tell the story in a way that people can really, really hear it. The music side, already Uncle Pat Thomas, Ambole have signed up. We're really wanting to see if Kofi Kanata will come and join us that day. I believe there's maybe a bit of a clash with diaries and stuff. But I'm sure, hopefully, Mensa, you know, the guys, it would be just great to have a mixture of the local new school high life, old school high life, Afrobeat.
Young and old.
Yes, and also the Kutis. We would love to see some, maybe Seyun or Femi. Over in Ghana,
of course,
for the event. So no matter what, it's going to be global. It's definitely going to span generations, and it's definitely going to be transformational. So.
You know, I'm looking at flights. So
yes, definitely book your flights. And also the other thing that we want to make sure is available for those who want it is that if you have time to stay after the festival, you can actually do a tour.
Stay in the area.
You know, and so stay in the area, but then get a chance to go to Cape Coast and view and hear the history of you know, our enslaved ancestors. Go to Adan and see how the other half lives at the estuary and enjoy, the islands and go to the Volta region or to the northern region or even to the eastern region. So if you want to discover Ghana, the festival can be a gateway to discovering Ghana as well.
Yeah. They always say that Ghana is Africa for beginners.
I get that.
It's calm, it's relaxed, it's safe, everyone's cool. And there are so many wonderful things to see.
Absolutely.
Now tell me about your background, because I know that you are, like myself, someone with Ghanaian heritage who's grown up in the UK. And you've got an interesting life and creativity. We were talking earlier on, so dance was your route into creativity. Yeah, talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I grew up with an Irish and English mum and an English dad, and they were, working class. They worked in Kent and Buckinghamshire. They worked on the hop fields and in stately home. Yeah. And so I got a really interesting exposure to, English culture, very rural English culture, very, different, either agricultural or aristocracy, access to see what those worlds were about. Yeah. And then in school, until I was around 10, I was the only black kid in the school. Yeah. And that culturally was really interesting because music-wise, of course, I was exposed to, the classic 80s pop music, everything from disco, and then all the way through to metal. I remember being in my teens and loving metal and listening to, things like Metallica and going to Guns N' Roses concerts and things like that.
I've been to Guns N' Roses.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I saw them in Paris. I play guitar, that's my thing.
Okay, exactly. So you can appreciate it. But so, I think access to very diverse music and not having any kind of judgment about that has been really one of the foundations for me. But naturally movement was kind of like a tool that I found when I was a little kid, dancing, copying Janet and Michael on MTV or performing. And then when I got to my teens, started to go raving and going into Oxfordshire and to these big parties and, dancing on speakers. And
that's such a huge part of England and that whole culture, man. That was a very British thing.
Totally. And my career began at a party where an agent came and was like, oh, do you want to come for an audition? And I was like, okay. Yeah. And, she then became an agent. I met others and, ended up in the dance, commercial dance world.
Fantastic.
And so dance was, a big percentage of my income, which wasn't that huge, but it got me a life in London.
Fantastic.
While I was studying fashion at London College of Fashion. And, music was always, something that I desired, I wanted to do. I never quite believed that I could make it into a career. And ironically, I met a friend of mine working at Tesco's, Zan Lyons, who encouraged me to get a sampler, gave me his old PC, and I had a Yamaha A3000. I don't know if you remember those.
I'm more of an instrumentalist, so I never really. The irony is that I never really got into the MPC and sampling side of things because I play guitar and bass, and that's kind of how I'm musical. But I really wish that I had because I'm gonna buy one of those little MPC, the new ones that just come out, the small ones. Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those. Yeah. But sampling's awesome. Yeah,
totally. Well, I for me it was that period of SL2 and all these kind of like kind of dance
and dance music
labels.
It's so important.
And it was I think gave more people access, a bit like hip hop did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gave more people access to music making. And I think we were kind of a bit lawless, a bit like punk.
Great.
Because, it's like we didn't know the rules, so there weren't any.
That's fantastic.
And then you ended up with these kind of big anthems that people kind of, to this day, kind of dance to. And then there's an overlap, right? Because remixing became a thing of, you guys with the music chops collaborating with us guys who were kind of a bit sort of like sonically
and it makes
grounded.
A special thing.
It makes a special thing.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a mover, if you're a dancer.
Yeah, music is for everybody. And I think that, the best thing about music is that the barrier to entry, there is none anymore, and now with the advent of laptops and software, Everybody should be
everybody
making
can
music.
access it.
Yeah. It's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Very, very cool.
So it's interesting because for me, injury was a pathway to two things. One, my love of wellness and holistic and alternative health, and two, music for dance. Because when I couldn't dance, I had the opportunity of making music for dancers, and that became another avenue for me to express myself and work with creatives in a theatre setting, which is something that became a big part of what I do.
Yeah,
So,
very cool. Yeah, we were talking earlier on about your career, and it's so interesting. It's so interesting. And then in recent years, you moved back to Ghana. This is where we were the synergy, because obviously I spent a little bit of time there, and I think we overlapped. So yeah, what brought you back to Ghana, and how has that experience been?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Well, I spent the most of my life in London, as and fashion, dance, music, art, and then also community. So my bread and butter came from learning and development.
Sure.
I worked for the Transport for London for 6 years, and by the end of it, I was an operational trainer. They trained me, got me my certificate, my diploma in learning and development, and that took me out into the community, working with adults with learning disabilities. I specialised in community conflict, worked with young people in conflict. And that was a period of time where I'd spent a lot of time working on myself, understanding who am I, and using that kind of process to collaborate and work with others. And however, when it got to sort of around 2011, I found that I'd kind of lost my way a bit. I had a bit of a mental breakdown, which was really tough. And my journey back had me really reflect and review, what are the things that are really important. And in the 2012, I had the opportunity to work in Ghana twice. Once I did work with an NGO called Interact, which was a pre-elections peace-building program in New Fadama in Accra, which was amazing. And then in the end of the year, I went with two colleagues from the dance community, Alessandra Sutan and Nandi Bebe, and we performed Asabako.
Fantastic.
And we got on the beach. We worked with local young people, and we did a performance together with them on the stage on the beach, which was powerful. And that made me know that I think I can do something here in Ghana. There is a way that the community accepted us that made me go, oh, this is actually quite nourishing.
And it's good for the soul.
It's good for the soul. And being on the beach is also good for the soul.
And again, for our audience who may not know, Asabako is a wonderful music festival founded by a very good mutual friend of ours, Mr. Kofi Deborah, episode 1 of the podcast.
True.
And it's a beautiful beach. There's not much else to say except for the creativity around the festival, and the community around the festival is a beautiful thing, and what they've built is just...
And the jungle parties.
And oh gosh, I remember the first year. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I forgot. Oh God, that was a selective memory loss. I forgot about the jungle rave. The first year, it was the coolest thing in the world, because I don't know why anyone hadn't thought about it before, because it's such an obvious thing to do. But yeah, that jungle rave, man. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
And the vibe, and then it's, safe space to kind of just be, amazing. And so those two experiences had me really consider that actually this is somewhere I could be. I came back, I sold up. I was in London for a year renting. And then at the end of 2013, moved to Ghana, stayed on my cousin's floor in Sakumono, started there. And it was wellness that actually got me, my community, started working with one of my cousin's friends who had a wellness center, coaching some of his executive clients who had spent years in corporate and had been, and gotten all kinds of difficulties with heart disease and angina and all sorts of conditions, seeking a way to kind of heal and finding holistic well-being. And Kola, who I worked with, had that was his story. He was a corporate man who had found holistic health wellness and trained as a holistic doctor. Very cool. And so that became a niche. And that's really, a lot of my friends are in that space. They're in the corporate space or in some form of leadership, but have discovered that there's a way you can enjoy your life, but have a little bit of balance and also make your money. So,
one of the things that's wonderful about about Africa in general, but Ghana specifically, from my experience, is that we have access to so many wonderful plants and medicines. I mean, from moringa to neem trees
Aloe
to
vera.
aloe vera,
Yeah, bitter
all
leaf.
of these things. Yeah, and it's there and it's easy. My older brother is a vegan. In Ghana, and he actually has a little bit of land, and he grows his own vegetables, and it's all organic.
Yes.
and it's really, yeah. You know, one of the great snacks is buying bananas and groundnuts.
Of course, you can't beat it. It's such a balanced snack. You know, and we have, you know, a real young, growing community of vegetarians and vegans. I'm actually a pescatarian, so I enjoy Ghana's seafood. But, you know, for those who would want to come to the festival or are interested in vegetarianism, veganism, we have the Vibrant Vegan Society of Ghana, which is headed up by Dr. Do Sainam, and he is also an osteopath. And is, you know, very influential, kind of helping people think differently about food and nature and plants and animals. And then the Veg Ghana as well, you know, which they have events, markets, and, you know, if you go on their platform, you can find almost anything you want, you know, in terms of your food and your different kinds of products. So.
Yeah, very cool, man. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. So how much time are you spending now in the UK? Are you back and forth a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. I usually come for projects. This time it was for a conference. Last time I was here, it was also for a conference. The time before was for a music project at Sadlers Wells East. And so, so usually it's work that brings me here. Now I have a young family in Ghana, so I don't want to spend too much time in London. I run back, and my family here are like complaining, when are you bringing them over? So hopefully the next time I come, the little one and the wife will be able to come with me.
Fantastic. That's such a beautiful thing, man. It really, really is, you know. So talking about creative work, you said you did some work with Sadler Wells. What kind of stuff was that all about?
Yeah, so as I said, over the years, working with music for dance has been, you know, a real kind of pathway for me. And a colleague, Vicky Abokwe, who I'd worked with since 2013 on a production called Our Mighty Groove. And so Sadlers Wells had commissioned her, and there's a co-partnership to be the opening performance at Sadlers Wells East. Very cool. And so I was commissioned to make the soundtrack for her production in partnership.
I want to hear this, man. I really want to hear some of this stuff.
Definitely. So Flaming Beats was my collaborator, Warren, and shouts goes out to Warren. I made a chunk of the work in Ghana with the band Fra. Reynolds the Gentleman was part of it. And then Texzilla, who is here in the UK, who's an awesome remixer producer, who has remixed in Ganga as well.
Fantastic.
From Love and Death. We had made a whole chunk of the production before coming to the actual, you know, production weeks before the actual performance. And then Warren came in to create using kind of more of the contemporary styles to do part two, which was a really immersive second part where, you know, the whole production was about being in a club. And so for part one, it was from the stalls, so you watch the show from the stalls as a traditional performance. Part two, they roll back the stalls, and then you enter as you're in a club. And
I'm so gutted I missed this.
Well, I'm praying for them that they get the funding to put it on again, because it was a lot of work, and you know, it's award winning now. You know, they won a theatre award for that production, and deservedly so.
Very cool. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, these things that I find out about after the fact, I'm always like, oh, why didn't I know about this? And why didn't I?
Yeah, get on the mailing list at Sadlers Wells East. I think they do have some really interesting things.
I think I might have been here. I might have been in Ghana, sorry. So I might not have been in the UK.
Yeah, beginning of January last year.
Oh no, I was here.
You were here.
I was here.
Yeah, that one. So the actual went on stage at the beginning of February.
Oh, now I'm really annoyed. Now I'm genuinely
good. We'll keep in touch and see if it goes on again. I'll shoot you a mail.
Please do.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. Anything coming up in the future? What are your plans now?
Well, at the moment, actually, the festival kind of dovetails with what I want to do more of with the collective. So working with Mark and Villy of Ebofest and Akawaje Lit Up, we're really looking at first of all, Awo's tagline is Awo is home. And we see ourselves as a portal into Africa via Ghana. As
Sure,
you said,
of
it's
course,
a
yeah.
beautiful access point to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
continent. And we want to do a lot more exchanges with institutions all over the world around, young people, arts and business.
Yes, of course.
So the idea is that I've gone on that journey of being a diasporan and having grown up not knowing my culture, and then being introduced by people like Ebo Taylor to people like Ebo Taylor and learning about our music, our culture, our history. And I want to pass that on.
Yeah.
And so people who would love to do that can have a bit of a softer entry, because we can curate spaces, curate experiences for people who want to come down and do work. I've had people come and do little pop-up festivals, women's events, as in like leadership events for women,
Yeah. I saw something
education
recently
programs.
about that,
Yeah, all from the diaspora coming in with a ready-made community ready to kind of co-produce with.
Fantastic. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, Ghana is a wonderful place to be, and it's a wonderful place to spiritually reset sometimes.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, especially coming from either the US or the UK or, busy city environments. Yeah, it's nice to get to Ghana and have some peace and some calmness. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful, man. Wonderful.
And it's interesting, when you spoke it in that way, it did make me think about Uncle Ebo.
Yeah, he was a very calm presence.
Yes.
Yeah.
But sort of like a quiet, you talked about it earlier, like a soft power.
Yes. Yeah.
And, when I think about what I learn about him in terms of going over with the Black Star Band in the early 60s, on a bursary or a supported grant from Kwame Nkrumah, as part of that legacy of thinking of, actually, America builds the vision or the image of its greatness through film, Hollywood, music, and TV. And so his vision of having the same infrastructure for Ghana, Ebo Taylor gets to be part of that. And, going out there, picking up the depth of those kind of, that skills and knowledge of Western music and combining it with our own heritage and then bringing it back. And I think about all those of us who've grown here, either here or in the US, now having the opportunity. Some of us got the opportunity to, go to conservatoires and be in, public schools and things like that. And even if we didn't, like I grew up in a very sort of, local level, it's still a different type of exposure. What happens when we now go
back,
given there was such a long time where Kwame Nkrumah's vision wasn't possible, with military rule and coups and all this, people didn't get access. But now there's a chance for us to do something really powerful and kind of start that vision. I think that the festival, in a way, is a little bit of that. It's a little bit of like a platform of like, let's get together and do something that restarts or continues that vision.
Yeah, I think Ghana specifically, from our experiences, but African culture is such a strong thing. And it's such an attractive thing as well. And I think it's something that people easily fall in love with, And you're right, that soft power to be able to go around the world and to, help people to enjoy African culture.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's easy.
It's so easy. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's really one of the things. I mean, my sister or my cousin is a fashion designer in Ghana, and I feel like, all the different creative industries, are building in sort of gravity and reach
and stature.
And then, the structures aren't in place, so you actually get to be really creative about the way you build your business over there. So I think collaborations in commerce, in the creative industries, are also a really exciting possibility for those of us here or in the diaspora who want to create something and really plug into legacy in a way. It's another way of kind of having some leverage in terms of us as a people, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge amount of influence, both culturally, creatively, with commerce as well, Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Well, I mean, I think that, the next thing we've got to look forward to is the 22nd of May.
Yes.
So that is going to be Jazz Cafe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Have you got your ticket?
We're going to sort it out. I'm going to get online right now. We're going to get it sorted. And then Jago in East London, is it?
Yes, Dalston.
Yeah, Dalston.
That's the 10th of July.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it's going to be they're both going to be great events.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm so gutted because I'm going to be going back 2 days before Jazz Cafe. But you'll have to, ring me up and let me know how it went.
Yeah. No, very cool. Anything else you wanted to touch upon?
I guess a part of me is sort of a thank you to Uncle Ebo around not only the legacy, as we've talked about it, because there is that kind of, he's has so much reach, even on a political level without being outwardly political, but also just the pure joy of music and dance.
Yeah.
Because I discovered music. It's funny, I think, to be honest, to give him his flowers, I think Kofi Deborah is probably the person who really switched me on to Uncle Ebo's catalogue back in around 2012. Yeah. And Appia Kwa Bridge had come out. And that opening track... track. Oh my God. Ayesama. Hopefully you're going to play it linked to this podcast so people can enjoy it, but it is just so awesome. And that rhythm section and the way the horns pile in and it pulls back and gives you space as a mover. I think, just to note that that's kind of one of the entry points that people can have to Highlife or Afrobeat is just turn it up and enjoy just the visceral power of that music.
Yeah. I did a horn session with some fantastic horn players in the UK who are all of African descent. And I posted something on LinkedIn recently just talking about how AI can't do this. You cannot recreate this feeling through a prompt. It has to be live. It has to come from the soul.
Yes.
And it's such an important thing for people. And the future of music is we're going to be okay.
I believe so. Yeah. Both together, right? You can do the digital things, but we need to, at the end of the day, we want to get down and, getting that live music in a space with people together, a cup of something in your hand and
have some fun. No, it's a wonderful thing, man. It really is. But also, dance music is also a fantastic thing as well as your background,
absolutely. And they overlap. I think also for me, I don't know now, I think I'm almost in the middle. Is it sonic art? Is it dance? Is it live? Because over the years, it's been those intersections that have made the most interesting music. Like working with the band Fra recently has taught me that, they were really, I created the foundations in Ableton. And then went into the studio with them and we made it in parts and then just having it working with pitches to do those horns and being able to, the beginning is called funk and disco and the second half is Afro and it's inspired of course by Ebo Taylor, Essiebons and all the rest but it's that meeting place where technology gives you the opportunity but all the old influences, the new ones coming together is what opens up that opportunity for a stage in East London, of all places.
It's so cool, man.
It has a footprint of all those great people on it.
Yeah. This is the global conversation with music, I think, is one of the most beautiful things that we have in this world as a human. And, it's wonderful for people from all over the world to be able to check out what others have created, no matter where you're from. Yeah.
Are you any plans to go back out to Ghana?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We have a family home there. You know, my son is there. My mother is there. Yeah. I'm back and forth. Yeah.
And for the 27th and the 28th of August?
Yes. Now this is. Can I get back in time for that? I will try. You know.
You have to try all.
Yeah.
And bring people.
Yeah. I need an excuse to be like, okay, come on, let's get going. Yeah.
How about we bring your studio out to the festival?
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like having a little pod
It would be
and
really
having
cool.
these soul conversations?
It would be very cool. Yeah. It's come up in my mind because I know I have to come to Ghana and to do a whole series. Yeah. Kobe Graham and I are doing a Zoom one on Monday.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're going to sit down and have a chat about what's going on. It's going to be a very Ghana-centric month on Afro Soul Stories.
Beautiful. Yeah. No, so let's think about that.
Absolutely.
It could be amazing.
Yeah. Oh God, so much, man. I've got South by Southwest coming up. Yeah. It's gonna be busy. It's gonna be busy. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for coming through.
You're so welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm really excited about what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Even going through the work that you've done so far, the kind of conversations you've been having, you're really sending out the depth and the breadth of soul music to a new generation. So,
well, I mean, hopefully people are gonna, you know, I get educated every time we do one of these. You know, I've learned so much from so many people, and it's a real pleasure to be able to talk to so many people. And yeah, for me, it's an education every time. Yeah. Cool, man. So we're gonna have the dates for the gigs, and yeah, we'll have some information for everybody, and hopefully everybody can check it out.
excellent.
Thank you so much, man. The handshake is always so awkward on this one. Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.